In the bottom left side, we're looking at the main base of the man who went for that proxy Twilight cheeky Dark Shrine build. Was maybe hoping that Spatz would do some sort of a one base attack, because the very quick DT builds are pretty good against that. Instead, Spatz just scouted, went for an expand, found what he was looking for, and had all the right answers. So I guess we're just going to macro in game 2. And that is kind of what this man is known for. Hailing from Poland, it's ArT. Beer, forgot it. No. There we go. Bam! I don't forget a beer, man. We make beers appear, and that's how we do it. In the top right side, we are looking at the main base of our German Protoss. Perhaps an outsider to win this entire tournament, because some of the strongest players in this tourney are Protoss. And honestly, I kind of feel that he's had good PvP for quite some time, even though not many people are confident in that PvP. Unless your name is MaxPack. Representing Berserker Esports, this is Spatz. Of course, he still has to make it past ArT first. And I guess the winner of this series will play Shutdown next Saturday around 7 PM, 6, 7 PM. Or 8 PM even. I guess that will be the second to last series. After this game, I want to take a little look at the bracket of the Africa Cup qualifier tonight. I know it will not have Rainer and Saro, but it should still be kind of fun. Hi, good afternoon. Hello, OPT Inferno. I wish you a good evening, mate. The afternoon has long gone, but the evening is here. Spatz going for a proxy pylon, but that's pretty much all it is at the moment. They do this to fake out their opponent and make it seem like they're going for a one base all-in. Maybe the opponent will play overly defensive after seeing that a pylon is missing from the main. The Koreans started doing this a long time ago, and it kind of just always stuck around. An early afternoon. 1 PM on the East Coast. Now for the West Coast people, we can still say good morning. And in Hawaii, I mean, you could be on a bender in Honolulu at the moment and still be up and be like, some PvP on Roddy's stream. And that's the way that I want to end my evening. The mind games are working out, by the way, guys, for Spatzy. As we can see that ArT is sitting on 2 gates and he drops the Robo. Dropping the Robo before expand, that's something you only ever do if you're very worried about being all-in. We know that Spatz is, at least not at the moment, planning an all-in. Even though he did drop the Twilight, but I think we can still display 2-gate Twilight expand. Ooh, okay. We are really selling a story here, guys. Oh, but ArT finds it immediately. You feel like you're taking the most hidden, secret, weird base of all time, and then your opponent finds it immediately. We could have a 4-stalker against 4-stalker skirmish in the center of the map. Should be good for Spatz. He gets the first volley off. Okay. Spatz apparently does not believe in defensive micro. Now he's splitting up his targets, and it's a 2-for-2 trade in the end. He might actually be in danger of making this a 3-for-2 trade. No. He's just trading out everything. ArT has gone for a War Prism first. I have to admit that I think that's an odd choice. I don't know if that's to rally that Prism in a weird way to the other side of the map. Maybe he wants to get Adepts into the gold and then drop 2 Adepts in the main. Or we're gonna attack with 3 Stalkers in the Prism, but that's not really much of an attack. I don't know if this is quite the right way to play it for ArT. I think if he would have gone Immortal first, and then you just keep warping in units, I actually think this would have gone quite well. We do have the recall, so we're going to try to saturate that gold base immediately, but the Stalkers of ArT are already here, so at this point, Spatz is not able to really mine up this base. With 5 against 5 Stalkers, he should be able to take an alright fight. Obviously, ArT will have some micro potential, but there's a Sentry in the mix. Guardian Shield then. No? You don't want to use it? Okay, now he uses it after he lost 2 Stalkers. We are not too far off, though, of Spatz having Blink. And the moment that Spatz has Blink, that's where ArT could honestly be in a bit of a pickle immediately. Especially because a lot of his Stalkers are already low on HP. We have an epic probe fight happening in the top left side. That first one is Lethal, the second one is me. We're chasing Lethal. But Lethal does some very dangerous rising. Shield battery gets killed, but Blink is ready. We blink to the other side, snipe the Prism, but Big Daddy Immortal has shown up, and that also means that Spatz needs to be a little bit careful. I'd say get 1 shot off on the Immortal, that's exactly what he does. You know, he just blinks forward with everything. He's gonna lose a lot of Stalkers, but in the end, Spatz will keep his gold base safe. Will take out this entire army of ArT too. And now, honestly, I think I kind of like it, guys, for our German Protoss. Ooh, that one stuck. Oh my goodness, both stocks are in trouble. We're gonna recall, but I think one stalker will die. No, it lives. Okay. Good save. But still very awkward spot to be in right now for ArT. Even if he has 4 workers more, his opponent has the gold. And the gold makes up for that 4 worker deficit. So little micro potential in an army of 3 stalkers, a sentry, and an immortal. The only thing that ArT can really do right now is just defend. Poke. Oh. Force field goes down on the side of ArT, but that's obviously just going to help a couple of these stalkers too. We have 2 adapts that are going to shade into the main base. It's excellent there for ArT that he's got a probe to warp in that battery. Because if these 2 adapts would have made it into the main, this game could have just been over immediately. Because it would have been very hard to clean that up while also having to deal with all these blink stalks. In the natural, the stalk is blinking in an awkward spot. Nice micro. Honestly, fantastic job there by ArT defensively with the Warp Prism, with the Immortal. The pickups, the unload, the pickups again. Warp Prism in a bit of a pickle though. Do we blink for that Prism? Yes, but he misclicks. He blinks forward for the Prism, but he shoots at the Nexus. And now Immortal number 2 is out. Warp Prism is going to save the day. And this is actually an amazing hold by ArT, guys. I'm so impressed. This is actually so good. Unless the Protoss would have died. I'm not lying. Spatz still warping in Stalker Arenas. Never fired up Charge, by the way, which I always think is a bit silly. Charge is so cheap, you may as well. Stalkers will finally get an Immortal though, so right after we sing the praise of ArT, he does end up losing one of the Immortals. Four adapts. It's such a problem for ArT if these adapts make it into the main because his army is still very immobile, and the 4 adapts overall are already a bit of a problem because nothing in the army of ArT right now is very good against adapts. So with these 4 adapts, will he let the shade finish up? Not yet. I like the hallucinated Immortal. Dark Shrine more than halfway done on the side of ArT. Robo is being built at home. Powered by 1 pylon. Stalkers and adapts are going to try to get lucky once more. But with the battery, I think ArT is officially safe. For the first time in a couple minutes, I think we can say that he's officially safe. Now it's a real shame. I want to say that the Warp Prism is at home. And it's kind of still at home, but not really. Gonna warp in 2 DTs and he's gonna run at least one of them to the gold. Spatz see this, guys. This would be a sick moment if he sees it. I think he may have seen that. We do see a forge go down immediately, so I think Spatz kind of knows what's up. He's going to warp in a couple of units here. Can he drop a force field to keep the adept out? The answer is no. And that means that he's now in a bit of a pickle. He's going to lose a lot of probes in their gold. You really don't want to deal with Dark Templars and fight with Stalkers at the same time. That just rarely ends well. We also have 4 adepts shading into the natural. This game is just a bit bananas. Both of them bleeding out a lot of probes. Spatz was awfully close to already being up 2-0. Now it's just kind of weird. My Spatz is up in supply, but is maybe losing his gold. We have an observer here though, no? We have 1 observer. And that observer is just going to keep the natural safe. Seems that Spatz is not too worried about keeping that gold base alive. Kind of giving up on it. Don't think he really got that much out of it. But since we're already going up to 3 bases here and this Nexus is literally done, we can now still just play 3 base against 3 base. Minor work elite. Quicker upgrade. It's all pretty playable. Thank you to my man Fading at the Edges for the 37 months. Now Trigger needs to make sure that he doesn't forget about this tournament. He qualified for this tournament while he was in my house, so I'd be very sad if he doesn't show up. We've got a Zealot, Stalker, Sentry getting on top of the 3rd base of ArT, and since it's kind of an overwhelming amount of Zealots, he just doesn't want to deal with it. Does not even cancel though. That's a big mistake. Losing the Nexus would have already been a problem, but losing 400 minerals makes it a much bigger issue. At least we have the DT showing up in the main and in the natural at the same time. 1 DT in the third would have been ultra sick. Like, this is nice, but it doesn't make up for the fact that we just lost our third base. And we didn't cancel it. If he would have cancelled it, we'd be like, we still have the better army. It's going Glaives, by the way, I like it. Glaives against a whole bunch of Zealots on the side of Spatz. Honestly, if I was Spatz, I think I'd be okay with just trying to fight here. Even with all these batteries, I think I wouldn't care that much. Be like, go ahead and A move and then see which battery is being overcharged and then try to gun that one down with your Stalkers and go for it. But as long as there is a prism out on the map, I also understand he doesn't really want to do that. Warp Prism goes into warp in mode once more. DT number 5 or 6 of the game gets warped in. Gonna go for an adventure, but since there is a cannon there, it's a very underwhelming adventure. Zealot Stalker and a cheeky sentry with a couple of observers trailing in the back. ArT is in an awkward spot and really needs to get this hidden gold up. But Spatz wasn't born last night. He's like, how did this game start off again? I warped to the Nexus on the wrong side of the gold. What are the odds that my opponent does the same? Apparently, guys, they are quite high. And honestly, at this point, I don't even know what I think ArT just needs to send it. Like, we truly go for it. We get a few more adapts. Where's that Warp Prism? Can we make sure that... Oh, we cannot lose the Prism though, mate. He won't. A good old-fashioned base trade, perhaps. As Spatz finds a lot of these probes that were in transit to that third base. And now the doors to the natural are wide open. These batteries are going to go down. We might turn this into a bit of a base trade. The army of ArT, though, is freaking terrifying. Even if it's a bit smaller in supply, that is honestly an insanely good army against the army that Spatz currently has. Spatz is going to double down on Stalkers. The one problem, though, is that now the base trade has already started on one side, while the other side hasn't done any damage yet. It is now officially starting on Spatz' side of the map as well. There is hope for the man from Poland. He's down 23 army supply, but he's got an Archon and he's got 14 adapts, and he's the one with a DT. Not too much hope, of course, but there is some hope. He's got 3 Immortals against a man who's very heavy on the Stalkers. What really sucks for ArT is that he's a little bit too late to snipe that Forge. Denying +2 would have been pretty big here. ArT needs to make sure that he doesn't get eliminated, but we've got this base and we apparently saved a lot of probes that he's now sending towards his main army. +2 against the alert, that is a problem. 12 Stalkers with Blink on the side of ArT against the 22 Blink Stalkers. Are we going to try to defend our gold base, or do we give up on that one as well? I think this army is a bit too big to recall, so it kind of seems like we're giving up on it. But it's going to lose all these probes. We're definitely going to lose a whole bunch of them. Maybe not all of them, but definitely a whole bunch. It's 8 pylons, by the way. ArT wants to make sure that by the time his Nexus is done, he can produce stuff. Spatz has now retaken the gold that he lost earlier. That's going to be his only real mining base. Every unit counts in these scenarios because neither of them really has a whole lot of production. Spatz could maybe down the line repower his main, but I think that's going to be very difficult since ArT is going to defend the natural. I think we will fight. Observers, by the way, Spatz has 2, ArT has 1. It's very important to keep an Obs alive because ArT is the one who still has 1 DT. Force field could be nice here. The adapts are going to tank some of the Zealot shots. Honestly, Zealots are going to disappear here. You want to be careful, Spatz. It started, guys, with Spatz having like a 23 or 30 army supply advantage and a 2 upgrade advantage. But Zealots really kind of suck against adapts, as you guys have seen so far. Now it's kind of all about the Stalkers. If the Stalkers can just gun down the Immortals, it's going to be okay. But this actually is a really bad fight so far by Spatz. And the Warp Prism Micro, again, is very good on the side of ArT. Down 2 upgrades, guys, but he may actually win this. Down 2 upgrades. And it was down 20-something army supply when all of this started. But he just handled that fight a whole lot better. The adapts were in a perfect spot. All 3 Immortals still alive. Spatz probably can't believe it, wondering what on earth is happening. Okay, the Stalkers are finding some really good pickups right now. Almost gets in Immortal. Maybe now that the armies are a bit smaller, we can get insane micro potential out of our Blinky boys. So we have a tiny forward blink on the side of ArT as he snipes one Stalker. We now have 22 army supply against 21. Spatz still has obviously better upgrades, but ArT has 3 Immortals and a War Prism. If the War Prism dies, then I like it for Spatz. Oh, he's gonna fight with probes. That's actually kind of nice. Probes sometimes mess a little bit with the AIs. This is a game deciding fight. Go for the Prism. You need to go for the Prism, mate. You need to go for this Prism. He wants to just gun down all the Stalkers. He kind of goes for the Prism. He gets it in the end. It's 2 Immortals. It's 2 Stalkers against 4 Stalkers. But there is still War Prism potential on the side of Spatz. And he wins the fight in the end with some crazy hot pickups. Comes out of it now with 10 army supply against 1. ArT waiting for his gateways to be done. But the problem is, guys, he cannot warp in anything. And he has no charge. The only thing he could warp in here that's somewhat... No, you can only warp in slow Zealots. 12 worker lead, but slow Zealots only, I am afraid, are not going to be good enough. What a call to pull the probes there, by the way. That's sick. Actually, an insanely cool call by Spatz. He gets rewarded for it. He gets justified. Game 2 was a nail-biter. It started off promising for Spatz, then it kind of looked dire at one point. ArT played very well, but I'm afraid that he got the short straw here in the end. There's nothing that he can really do anymore. Is waiting for that Cybercore to be done. That Cybercore is now finally done, but there isn't really any money in the bank on the side of ArT. ArT is dead. It's sad. Has warped in 2 Stalkers in the top left side. But 2 Stalkers are not going to cut it anymore. GG, what an insanely cool game between our German Protoss and the Polish Protoss.